Once you accept that the universe isn't local, that everything is connected, and that consciousness isn't just something stuck inside your brain, a question pops up. It's a question that's hard to ask without sounding a little absurd. Is the universe itself aware? Not conscious like we are. It's not thinking or planning or making decisions, but aware in a much deeper, more fundamental way. This idea usually gets dismissed right away, not because anyone has disproven it, but because it breaks an unwritten rule of modern thinking. That awareness has to belong to something, a brain, a body, some kind of system with clear boundaries. But as we're learning, those boundaries might not be as real as we think. They might just be a convenience for our understanding. If reality, at its deepest level, is a single, connected process, then maybe awareness doesn't just pop into existence inside the universe. Maybe it arises asterisk the universe. This idea is ancient, way older than science, yet modern science keeps circling back to it from completely unexpected angles. In physics, we don't really see the universe as a collection of separate objects anymore. We see it as fields, relationships, probabilities, and information. Matter isn't solid. Space isn't empty. Time isn't the same for everyone. Everything boils down not to things, but to interactions. And what is awareness at its most basic level, if not interaction? To be aware is to register a difference, to respond, to update. In this sense, awareness doesn't need thought. It doesn't need an identity or a purpose. It just needs sensitivity. And the universe is incredibly sensitive. A single quantum event can alter probabilities everywhere else instantly. A measurement made right here can change an outcome way over there. Tiny fluctuations in the early universe grew into the galaxies we see billions of years later. Nothing ever happens in total isolation. This sensitivity isn't just passive either. It's structured. The universe doesn't just sit there. It responds. And this is where the idea gets a little tricky for our old ways of thinking. If the universe responds to interaction, then interaction is fundamental. And if interaction is fundamental, then awareness might just be woven into the very fabric of reality itself, not as a mind or a personality, but as a capacity to register, to connect, and to evolve. This completely reframes the question. Instead of asking if the universe thinks, we can ask if awareness is a basic property of existence. Just like mass or electric charge, something that doesn't just suddenly appear when things get complicated enough, but is present in a simple form everywhere. This isn't a mystical idea, it's a structural one. Complex systems, like our brains, show richer forms of awareness not because they create it from nothing, but because they can express it through more intricate arrangements. A human brain doesn't invent awareness, it concentrates it. Think of it like a lens. A lens doesn't create light, it just focuses it. This could explain something that has bothered science for a long time. Why consciousness doesn't seem to scale smoothly from non-living matter. Why there's no clear line where experience suddenly switches on. Why awareness feels continuous even when our sense of self dissolves. It's because awareness was never absent to begin with. It was just unexpressed. Now, this doesn't mean that rocks are thinking or that atoms have feelings. It means that the raw capacity for experience might be universal, while the experience itself depends on structure. It's a subtle but important distinction, and one that often gets misunderstood, but it actually resolves contradictions instead of creating them. A universe that can produce observers must already contain the conditions for observation. Otherwise, awareness would have to appear from nothing. And in physics, nothing ever appears from nothing. Everything transforms. This idea also helps explain why the universe seems so strangely fine-tuned for complexity. Not because it was designed by some intelligence, but because complexity is how the universe explores its own possibilities. This isn't about intention, it's about emergence. Biological evolution doesn't plan its outcomes, yet it produces incredible structures. In the same way, cosmic evolution might not be aiming for awareness, but it inevitably expresses it, because awareness is just one of the things reality does. This changes our place in the cosmos. We are not cosmic accidents observing a meaningless universe. We are localized expressions of a much larger process that is becoming aware of itself piece by piece. We're not special or central to it, but we are a meaningful part of it. This doesn't put humanity on a pedestal above the universe. It dissolves the distinction between us and it. The universe isn't something you are inside of. It is something you are a part of. And awareness isn't something you possess. It's something that passes through you. This can be unsettling because it removes the comfort of distance. You aren't just watching reality from the sidelines. You are actively participating in it. Your perceptions aren't separate from the universe's behavior. They are a part of its continuous unfolding. This doesn't mean your thoughts magically shape the cosmos. It means the cosmos expresses itself through your thoughts. This is why the question of universal awareness is so rarely taken seriously. It collapses our neat categories. It blurs the line between science and philosophy, observer and observed, self and world. But a collapse isn't always a failure. Sometimes, it's an integration. Every major leap in our understanding has required us to let go of assumptions that once felt essential. Absolute space collapsed, absolute time collapsed, objective locality collapsed. Now, the boundary between mind and universe is under pressure, and this pressure isn't coming from blind belief, it's coming from the need for consistency. A non-local, relational universe can't just suddenly produce isolated islands of awareness. That would be illogical. The deeper explanation is simpler. Awareness isn't an exception to the universe, it is one of its expressions. The universe doesn't need to be conscious in the same way you are. It only needs to be capable of awareness appearing within it, and that capability might just be fundamental. This doesn't answer every question, but it answers a big one. Why existence feels like something from the inside. Why there is awareness at all, not as an accident, but as a feature. And once you see it this way, the universe no longer looks cold and indifferent. It looks unfinished, not broken, but open, a process still unfolding. And you are not separate from that process. You are one of its moments. This may not be a comforting conclusion, but it is a coherent one, and in the search for truth, coherence is often a better guide than comfort. This is Insight Vault. Thanks for watching.